I'm guessing you're vegan. Started eating meat and it's gone. At least it's not like Dolly the sheep, but there's a reason to why I also hate vegans. I'm making them feel bad. That's not gonna work with me. It's in my diet to have meat. I'd rather have stronger muscles, and cow's milk is good for calcium.
And serves you a plate of dog.
Well, yeah, because that's a dog. Dogs are loyal.
Not
the
true.
prices of vegan products. You must be in like debt afterwards. I've realised the shoes as well.
Non-leather. Am I what you expected to be vegan-wise?
Like, you caught me off guard a couple of times with like.
Do you know why? It's because it's easy. Because I just have to be consistent. Health reasons, and then how as well.
Okay.
So
lovely.
I'd just encourage you to do that.
Right,
Thanks for
okay,
your time.
thank you.
Have a good one. Oh. Hey, yeah. Do you want to see my sign?
Yeah, I saw a sign.
Yeah.
I realised I was thinking of what I was going to say that sounded rude, but what I'm about to say doesn't. I'm guessing you're vegan.
Yeah, good guess.
Yeah.
Do you know any vegans in your life?
I did. My auntie and their boyfriend, but they've turned back to eating meat.
Oh no. Eating meat as well, not even veggie.
No, one because she's pregnant, so she needs. And I know.
You know what
So
I might say, but yeah, go on. Good.
There
I'm
are
not gonna like.
alternatives, but
Yeah, I'm here for the conversation.
it's better
Don't worry.
for the baby to, in order to have actual meat, then it can grow healthy and everything. And also the scab on my uncle's knee. I knew him when I was 13, and he was vegan. Throughout my life, I've always seen him with that scab on his knee.
Yeah.
It didn't heal.
Yeah.
And he started eating meat, and it's gone.
Do you think that's? Well, I've got a few questions. So the first thing I say was, do you think that's the only reason he went vegan?
Probably, yeah. He tried
But
medication.
the only thing that worked, just diet.
Yeah.
Do you think we can be sure of that?
Yep, they've gotten more thinner.
Okay, well, I would say I would definitely scrutinise that if I was like investigating, because largely there's all the evidence in the world to show that you can live a really healthy vegan diet. There's papers, all the nutritional scientists
If
agree.
you're pregnant though, it's better to take the risk of eating murdered animals and have a healthy baby than eat alternatives.
I'm glad you say murdered. That's a really good framing
No,
of it.
because I know if I say eating animals, it's gonna be like murdered animals.
Well,
I don't mean to be cocky. Is
no, don't worry. I'm totally game for the conversation, and also I know how the conversation can go. I'm here to have like a more constructive one, so you're not gonna find me like cutting you off like that. So don't worry.
Yeah.
I guide the conversations with just like a few prompt questions. So can I just ask you those, and then I'll let you go on your way. The first question I ask is, what do you think of animals in general?
Animals, lovely, and of course are helpful for our nutrition.
Just think about the animals in general, because I'm not trying to lead you down a rabbit hole, so don't worry about cameos. So you love animals in general.
Yeah.
Are there any animals in your life that you have like a particular affinity to or relationship with?
I like sheep.
You like sheep, yeah?
And going with sheep, I know shearing them off. Okay. Also, I've realised I know most vegans are probably against shearing sheep.
It's less about the shearing; it's about other stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Tied to
so
that.
you're fine with like the shearing and on because of course if they have too much.
Yeah, because they have to. But they're only like that because they've been bred to be like that, right?
Yeah, no, no.
Same with the cows.
The shearing thing,
and
a lot of them, which I pointed that out to, like have a full blown well, it's their way, and I'm there like. They could have a heat stroke.
No. Well,
the whole murder.
The thing is, it's like lots of animals need special care because of the way they've been bred.
Yeah,
and
it sucks the way they're being bred, but I mean, I gotta admit one thing. At least it's not like Dolly the sheep.
That's not vegan either. So
no, but that's worse than murder. At least that one, I know that they do go through torture and everything, but it's better than being bred by a scientist and it just lived a horrible life.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, all these animals are the result of like excessive breeding. So like chickens with the eggs. Do you know how many eggs that a chicken would normally lay before we started like
probably
breeding
shit
them?
ton.
No. Before we started breeding them, and then selectively breeding them, it used to be 12 a year, like 12. So like it's a standard like.
But the population's
cycle.
growing. But with the population growing, it's better to.
What population? Sorry.
Human population.
Yeah.
Because it's better. It is bad that they're just. It's the same thing with dogs, to be honest. I don't really like dog breeding because that's look at Hogs and
But-
Frenches.
You're dotting around a lot, so
No, so I
sounds like you've had a lot of conversations with
I have
vegans.
possible. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm self-diagnosed. I've been told by many people that I have ADHD
Oh,
because
I
I dart
do too.
from
Don't worry,
conversations. Like that's why I just be like, main point,
Yeah.
side rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's totally cool, mate.
Yeah.
In terms of the population growing, I would definitely say that actually you might be surprised to find if the world went vegan, we'd use 75% less land, and we'd still be able to feed
Yeah.
people the same amount because we're feeding animals like a heck ton of plants, and it's like most plants go to not most, a big chunk of plants go towards feeding animals, and all the land they use is like it's massive, right?
Yeah, I did have 2 points.
Go for
but
it.
I forgot one of them.
Go
But I
for
have
it.
1 point. I got most vegans. I don't mind whether you. I'm sorry, this can sound really. I don't mind whether you're vegan, vegetarian, and everything.
Okay, yeah.
But it feels a bit shitty pressurizing people, making them feel bad for having their own life choices. I know that it's the healthier alternative,
It's not about health though. It's,
and I know, but it's like it's what they choose to eat at the end of the day.
yeah.
Like, can't really force it out. I know some people can, but it's better to just let.
Why do you think vegans have a concern about what other people eat?
Depends on what type of vegans, to be honest. Some of them are just batshit crazy.
No, it's
And-
because of who they're eating, right? There's
Yeah.
a victim involved, so it's not
Yeah,
like
it
a
is the
personal
animal,
choice. You mentioned something really specific.
pressurize people into feeling.
Oh, I'm
bad
feeling
to-
guilty. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, why do people feel guilty? That's what I'd ask you.
Because it's animals. People love animals. But
There you
it's-
go.
Yeah, I get it.
No, but the
it's
point
also-
is, in order to feel guilt, right? You have to have the underlying premise that it is bad to eat animals.
Yeah, it is.
So if someone
I-
feels guilty, it's actually something that's to do with themselves. Like a psychopath doesn't feel guilty, right? Because
Yeah, but it's like, that's
That's what I'm
two
s-
completely different things: a psychopath and a vegan and a meat eater.
no, that's what I'm saying. That they are very different.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
the point is the meat eater that gets told that they should feel bad and then they inevitably do feel bad is because they actually do care, right?
Yeah, I
and
care about
they don't
animals,
like
but
being
I like
they,
meat.
they don't like it being pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, you can point it out to me anyway. It's not going to change my mind. I feel comfortable.
Okay,
eating
so
meat.
would you be okay if some evening your mum just came to the table and served you a plate of dog, a leg of dog, like on the table?
That. Well, yeah, because that's a dog. Dogs are. I know what you're going to say, but also so are animals, so are like sheep and everything. But dogs are like what the. Yeah, you know dogs. They're not really meant for eating unless.
No,
you're
but that's
on the
because
other side of the
that's what
world.
we've been taught to believe, right? But-
Yeah, but also.
Just hold the thought there, right? You wouldn't eat a dog because.
I thought you were going to say like, what if my mum served up a vegan dish? I was like, no, my mum loves meat more than me.
Point is though, we have an affinity to dogs because we brought
Yeah,
up to
because
have
dogs
it.
are loyal.
And
They
so are all the other animals.
Animals are, but
So
it's kind of the way that it's
my
been.
point being is that we have an inherent like opposement to eating dogs, right? Which is entirely societal, right? If you were actually put yourself in the animal's position, like do you think the animal, like the pig or the sheep or the cow, do you think if you told them, oh, you're going to slaughter because unlike a dog, you are for the food chain, do you think they'd think that was a good answer as to why they're going to slaughterhouse?
I mean,
Probably not, right?
chain.
Probably not.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like.
What I'd say though is that there's a clear double standard, which
Yeah,
I'm
fair
glad
enough,
you're able to
yeah.
acknowledge, right? And all a vegan is trying to do when they try and preach their, veganism, try and get people to think the same, it's just to get them to connect the dots and then like make the changes in their life to align their existing morals,
Are you
right?
trying to like get me to turn to like veganism or something?
Of course I am. That's what I'm here for, mate.
That's not going to work with me. I mean, I can understand your points and everything,
I'm
but
here
that's
to-
not going to like work on me.
I'd suggest, right, that everyone who like gave the time to consider their ethical system and consider
Yeah.
the individual animal would land on veganism, because fundamentally no one wants to see the inside of a slaughterhouse, and yet that's what they all pay for in their buying habits.
I mean, I know what you're going to say. Well, there's no humane way, but what's worse? Like, because
There's definitely worse.
You know the cage farms and everything.
Yeah,
like,
they're
when
worse, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they are much worse than. I know there's not a humane way, but I'd rather have my meat that's being produced come from like an actual farm
Yeah.
and not be put in a cage and be bred worse
Yeah.
than like.
Well, you're talking about basically ethically raised animals, right?
Yeah, I know.
So hopefully the animal has the happiest life before you take it away from them. Is that kind of, that's the best option? If that was the case, right, I think dogs probably got, the best thing to be eating, aren't they? Because they've got the best life of all the animals.
Yeah.
They're looked after, they have a great life.
It's better
We should be eating dogs with that logic.
This is going to sound really fucked up and weird,
Okay.
but it's better to have a happy life and get killed rather than being caged up. And
How about a happy
electrocuted and
life
get
where you
killed.
don't get killed?
Yeah, but still, what would you rather?
That's the
what would
option.
you rather have?
That's the option.
I prefer, if I were an animal, I'd rather have a happy life and be fed and taken care of, and then get killed.
Yeah, but
Then
you're only
be back
providing
caged.
two options when there's a third, which is just to leave them alone.
Yeah, but
Or not breed them into
I'm talking about
existence.
like meat production, though.
Yeah, so I grant you it's like there's better and worse, but really I'm more interested in whether we should have slaughterhouses or not.
Yeah,
But
I would
given
prefer
that
animals didn't die, but at the end of the day, it's in my diet to have meat. It's the way.
But that's
I've been
because you've
raised
decided to, and I was raised in it too. So I'm not like
I'm
I'm not
still-
trying
I'm
to have a
still
go
gonna
like at the individual. It's more about like recognizing that.
I know you probably think I'm like a massive twat.
I don't, mate. I don't. And honestly, mate, I was so anti-vegan like about 4 or 5, probably 6 years ago to be fair, where I was like, shut up. You can't like pretend that you can live on a vegan diet and get everything you need, But then I watched some shit that I thought was horrible.
Yeah, I
realised I was paying
watched
for
a
it.
battery cage chicken
And then-
video as well, and I thought
There's a
fuck
lot of
that,
worse
it's
you can watch than
horrible,
that. But
yeah.
mate, I see you want to like kind of move on, and that's fine.
No, I'm sure this is probably
But-
better.
no, but
This is
I'm-
better than having
I'm
someone be like, well, to be honest, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're down, mate, what do you think? So, having
There's-
like considered what the vegan position is, like,
But
what
there's
do you think
another
stopping you?
reason. It's got nothing. Okay, what I'm about to say, it's got nothing really to do with you. But there's a reason to why I also hate vegans, like people who I love animals. Basically, about during 2020 when people be released and everything, I got into like pigeon feeding,
Yeah.
and I love pigeons, still do. And there was it's a vegan activist group,
Okay.
and they were like standing around there and everything. And there was a pigeon. I thought, oh, that's cute. And it had a tag on it, so it was trained. I walked up to it and noticed something ain't wrong, and I looked at because usually trained pigeons, if you go up to them, they usually run away. It's like, you're not my owner.
Right.
And I thought, is this dude's owner standing there? I asked, is this your pigeon? Oh, no, it's not. And I knew something was wrong because a normal trained pigeon would not be that close to a human.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed that their poop was kind of weird, and they started stumbling around.
Okay.
Turns out it's been poisoned and it died. And if for a vegan activist group who love and care animals, should have.
Well, do you think they should
No,
have like
it's-
rushed it to the hospital?
No, but they should have realised something was wrong.
Well,
with something.
what's so interesting there is you wanted to help, right?
Yeah,
If you
I tried to help it. Me and my mum tried to help it. We took it down there away from noise and everything, and it
and
suddenly
then
died.
what did you have for dinner that night? Do you have chicken?
No, I didn't
A different
eat,
bird.
I didn't eat. No, I love
I'm
pigeons.
teasing.
I would not. Okay, so I was about to say what the
I've
fuck?
actually eaten pigeon before. I
Oh,
regret
I
to say.
couldn't.
Well, mate,
I love sheep and animals,
But that's literally,
I
it's
could
just
not
about
eat-
making the connection and then aligning what you buy and consume with your values. And I can see you care, mate. And I would
Yeah.
never accuse you of not caring as much as you haven't aligned your actions with
I
the
wouldn't
vegans.
personally kill an animal, but
Yeah.
if I just
So it's more,
I'd
to be
rather
honest,
have meat.
it's more about connecting, like, I would say it's maybe more about just connecting your purchasing choices with what you value.
I mean, we don't eat meat. Me and my mum don't really eat meat that lot. We have it like once or twice a week.
So it's better than eating it more. So how about none?
I know, but
I'm jesting, mate. But yeah.
I'm sorry for it's like no, please no. But yeah, I know it's still bad to eat meat and everything, but it's better
Well,
than to
I'm glad
constantly
I'm
consume
glad we
it.
can agree on that point. But as I say, like,
I just want to have it in my diet because especially if I'm skating. I know some skaters are vegan, fair enough, but
see, it's
I mean,
possible, mate. It's possible
but
with all the evidence.
I know, but I'd rather have stronger muscles and
Mate, do
bones.
you know,
like with cow's milk as well. Cow's milk is good for calcium and everything. I'd rather
You can
have
get calcium everywhere else, mate. That's just what they tell
I'd
you.
rather have
Dairy
it from
industry.
a cow. Like it.
Do you think that's a
tastes
bit
nice.
weird? Do we get
tastes-
it from like the udder of a cow, a different species?
Yeah, but if you
Have you
think
thought
about
about it
it,
that
but if
way?
you think about it, it's a bit weird drinking from your mum's tit as well.
Well, that's kind of normal. That's kind of natural, isn't it? But from another species.
I remember.
Still, I'd rather have
On the
a
topic
cow's
of
tit
of health and fitness, mate. Do you know Djokovic?
Going, so we just watching.
No, but I'm guessing he's a vegan person.
So he's like the number 1 or 2 tennis player in the world, and
I
yeah,
don't watch tennis.
yeah, vegan. Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
Vegan.
Yeah.
Mate, they're
Also,
athlete, and there's gold
I've
medalists
realised
who are
his
vegan.
shoes as well.
Non-leather.
leather?
No.
Oh damn it! I was gonna try and be like, oh. Fair
But
enough.
even still, if someone got second-hand stuff, then it's like it's
What
it's hard
if you
to.
see someone in leather shoes but it's vegan but they got it second hand? Would you be like, fake?
Well, I personally would avoid leather no matter what, because like I don't want to display it as something nice to wear. But that's just my personal stance. And like if you're not actually paying for the industries, then I give it a pass, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, yeah.
See someone in second hand.
You
leather
are
shoes.
you what? Am I what you expected to
No,
to
this
be
has been
vegan
it's
wise?
been like you caught me off guard a couple of times with like the.
Do you know why?
forgot, but
It's
yeah.
because it's easy. Because I just have to be consistent, and anyone else I talk to is trying to, you know, do acrobats around the logic.
Yeah, I can't tell whether you're like shoving veganism in my face or just having like a normal conversation. Like, I don't.
Well, ultimately, mate, I'd love you to go vegan. I'm here to have like productive conversations, and ideally, I'd like the people I'm talking to go vegan. I'm also showing the conversation so people make the connections. But lastly,
would-
like when it comes to like the individual I'm talking to now, I want to assess what you think, and then I want to leave you with a card. Can I do that?
I've probably forgotten everything. I have the memory of a goldfish.
Well,
So.
well, this will point you in the right direction. So this is a card I love to give people. I produce these myself. One side is about the victim's perspective. So this is the hard stuff to watch. This speech has no footage, so it's just a guy talking
I've
logic.
seen the activists that usually are down there and they show really graphic videos.
Yeah,
which-
I've joined them, and I do think it might be the difference maker. It was for me. I had to watch something horrible to make the
I've
decision.
watched it as well. I've watched shit videos like this as well, but I still eat meat.
Yeah, but
It-
the point is about making the connection. And when you next buy the product, you might like connect the dots and realize, shit, I'm paying for that horrible stuff I watched.
By the
That's
time
the
I get
difference.
home, I'm gonna probably forget about
Maybe,
this.
but that's what the card's for.
But it's
On the
not-
other side,
I'm sorry if I sound rude by saying it's not gonna make a
Mate.
difference. It's just it's.
mate, I was the
That's
same.
just
So
my
it's
thing.
not like I'm very optimistic about anyone's prospects. These are environmental and health reasons. If ever you want to check it out, there's Netflix documentaries, etc. And then lastly, where you can find vegan restaurants, and then just like a general guide.
I've had vegan restaurants. They don't taste nice.
Mate,
A lot
you just
of
gotta
them
go
are
to the right
just-
ones. I love my food. It's
I
great.
love my food. That's why I eat meat. I like food.
Yeah.
I'm not a like full-on meat eater. I do like a bit of veg sometimes. I went to college one time with just whole lettuce and just ate that. It was nice, very yummy. But I could not do that.
We don't just eat lettuce.
Huh?
We don't just eat lettuce.
No, I'm just saying. It's like I just be eating lettuce. But in general, if I were to eat substitutes and shit, like
I don't actually eat substitutes. I just eat tofu. The fake chicken stuff's nice. The fake everything's like decent.
But in
It's not,
general,
it's, and it's you know, I'd
it's
say
alright,
better for you
but
than meat. But that aside, it's like I just don't want to pay for animals to get exploited and slaughtered.
sure, but it's cheaper than
but-
some vegan products.
It's not about. Well, it's not.
Have you
It's
seen the
not true.
prices of vegan products though?
Yeah, some of them are expensive.
You must be in like debt afterwards
Nah.
after just buying just a simple
No,
meal.
because if you just have veg and tofu, it's
Actually,
super cheap.
me and my mum one time had a vegan meal. It was banging, but it's in Heron Foods, but it's sold out. It was nice.
Is it like a ready meal? I think I might have had
Yeah,
that. It's like
Buddha bowl.
80p or something.
It's like Buddha bowl or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
they were nice.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, but I
Great,
couldn't
man.
eat it all the time. I couldn't eat stuff like
You
that.
just
all
got
the
to mix
time.
it up. It's just about learning recipes. I would say the only thing that's going to motivate you is just like knowing what you're paying for. So I'd encourage you to look into
Yeah,
that. What was your name, by the way?
Peter.
Peter James.
I would shit. My hand's really sweaty. I really
Fist bump.
Fist bump. Yeah, I
Like,
really don't want to.
Mate, Peter, it's been nice talking to you. I'm James.
Yeah.
I'm James Kai Activism. I've not been active for a while, but I might well, you know.
I will
share
follow
stuff.
you, but
Yeah.
it's not going to convince you to turn
Mate,
vegan though.
look at the card.
I will.
Watch one of the documentaries with your mum or something. Yeah.
We usually
and maybe
eat-
you'll decide.
We usually eat during dinner. I don't really fancy having.
Don't do it while you're eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's decent speaking, better than anything.
Mate, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
All the best.